so many questions on Nikola, because I mean the stock is up another 104% today. I got my video. I put out 2 videos on it. Pretty skeptical. But man, this is a crazy one to be tracking. Rob, you had your interview with Trevor Milton. That was amazingly done. I thought that was awesome. What's your take on this? I mean, I was blown. I'll give maybe my 30-second rundown first, which is, I thought it was overvalued at 12 billion. Tesla and hit, Nikola less than $1 million in revenue last year, still a year away from production, burning 88 million. Like, haven't really done anything yet. It's just a paper business plan, although as good or bad as it wants, like they just haven't done anything. They're nowhere near making money or profits. Even their own projections only project 3 billion in revenue in 2024. Today, up over 104%. We're looking at a market capitalization of 25, 26 billion for a company that's super low gross margin vehicle, not expecting to do 3 billion revenue until 2024. I even think they're not even going to hit that. I mean, this is, it's almost like, wow. Like, I thought this is worth 2/3 of what SpaceX is worth, but they haven't even done anything yet. So to me, this is insane. I think part of there's a structural difficulty to get liquidity to short sell the stock. There's not shares available to short, so we're not seeing a true balance in the market. Momentum trading has just run away with this, and day traders are getting a hold of it, and that combined with amazing press Nikola's getting and the non-ability to short is really interesting. And the other thing I will say is if you look at the options trade, the amount of premium in the puts versus the calls, to me, is real evidence that there's a lot more pent-up demand to short this stock that cannot get there and that is leaching out into the options market, and is pricing in massive downside volatility, which to me, kind of backs up my skepticism. But yeah, I'm left here scratching my head saying the market can stay irrational longer than you can stay solvent. Neither of us have a position in Nikola at all, just bystanders of this crazy story. But
yeah, I mean, overall, I sort of agree with those thoughts. I think what we were looking at with the puts, for an example, if you look at like a $50 strike option, the put for that might be 3 times as expensive as the call option for an individual strike. So the options market is pricing in a lot of downside. As Gali said, there's no shares available to short. So once shares do become available, that adds liquidity into the market and adds downside pressure. So I think when you see a stock go up 100% any individual day without really any news, it's always something that's worth thinking about. I think, especially when it's in sort of the domain that Tesla's in. So yeah, as Gali said, I had Trevor on last week for an interview. My personal thoughts on the company, they're pre-revenue right now. A lot has been said about the billions of dollars of reservations that they have. We've talked about how those have come without any sort of deposits. So how firm those are is up for debate. I think the business model, it's interesting, but it's not a business model that I'm personally interested in. I really like Tesla because of the vertical integration that they offer, and I think Elon has a really good understanding of how to optimize that because he is coming from that engineer mindset. So he can go into those different parts of the vertical integration and spend some time there learning about it and decide how to make changes that can capture more value throughout that chain. Whereas, Trevor on my podcast said that, that's not necessarily where his experience comes from, and that they're working more to partner with the people that are good at those things. And I think when you're disrupting an industry like this that is so difficult to succeed in, one of the many reasons that Tesla has been successful has been Elon's ability to go through that entire chain and find those little pieces that add up significantly throughout the entire chain that has allowed Tesla to be successful and to be sort of the revolutionary company that they have been. So that's kind of my thoughts on it. The 25 billion valuation is very head scratching at this point. They IPO'd or the reverse merger happened at a 3 billion valuation, so it's almost up 8x from.
Like Nikola sold a bunch of stock at $10 per share, and that was what the financing transaction was. And you're buying at 7 times.
Yes, that's right. I said 3 billion is their projection for 2024, and that's probably a pretty rosy projection right now. And if we compare it to Tesla, go back to mid-March this year.
Tesla was worth the same.
Not the same, but it was worth probably 50 billion, what it was now. So 50, 60 billion. Nikola right now is half that valuation that Tesla was just 3 months ago, and Tesla's revenue run rate is 30 billion. And they're growing at 50% a year, probably more than that. Dude, so it just, it doesn't, obviously the market situation was different in March, but it just doesn't make a lot of sense in terms of the valuation to me right now. So Yeah, as Gali said, we're looking at the puts, we're looking at the shorting and stuff, and just really curious to see how this plays out. We don't have positions, but yeah, both of us are sort of scratching our heads on the valuation.